Hi there. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Welcome to the Multiverse show. I am your host, Xander, and this is our first episode, so I'm really excited to start this up, something that I have been thinking about for a little while now. So I'll kind of just explain how the show works, introduce my guest, and we will go over a little outline of what we're going to talk about in today's show. So with that being said, the idea for this show kind of just came to be by thinking about opportunities to talk more about the things that I love and that are important to me, and talk to the people that I love in my life that have great things to say about them too. And the title, The Multiverse, came from the idea of having just a variety of topics to talk about. But the main focus of the show could be narrowed down into two, which is sports and then movies. So that's kind of what the show is. I guess at this point, I will just introduce my guest. This is my dear friend, Tim. Tim, thanks for coming today.
I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah. We got a good slate of stuff to talk about today. What we'll start with is the sports topics. Right now is kind of a big time because the NFL playoffs are starting on Sunday. So we'll do a playoff bracket and make our predictions, kind of say a little bit about, why we're picking each team over another. I know we are both pulling for one specific team to win it all, but with how the year has gone out, I mean, we'll see. I'm interested to see what your opinion on this is. We haven't talked about this at all, so this will be...
I'm trying to be unbiased.
Yes,
completely.
Yes. Right. There might be a little bias in my picks, but I think that overall... It'll be good. But the next thing will be NFL honors predictions, because that comes up as well. Been kind of a crazy year when it comes to like the race for stuff. I mean, you got like really good running back play for Boy, but also wide receiver play. Like that could go anyway. Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested to see where this is.
It's been a great year for the neck and neck kind of stuff in a couple categories. Yeah, and we'll get there.
Right. I have some things to say about the MVP race, especially.
I do too.
All right, perfect. And then when we get to movies, we're going to talk about superheroes a lot today, especially because Tim is probably like my most superhero knowledgeable friend. So we'll kind of go over. We have an MCU 1v1 wheel, so we'll pick some random characters, kind of debate and discuss who would win, and then we're also going to do, our top 5 movie and TV projects for this year. So, without further ado, why don't we start going over the playoff bracket? I have to pull mine up here. While I'm pulling it up, are you interested in kind of going over your first pick? So tomorrow's game.
Yeah.
This is recorded on Friday. The playoffs start tomorrow. Hopefully, I can get this video out either during the day tomorrow or tomorrow night. Either way, we are picking these in advance.
We promise.
Yes. So for tomorrow's 4:30, I think it's 4:30
game
is LA in Carolina.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about this pick?
This is one of those games where you could predict right away exactly where they'd slot this one in. The least valuable time slot, Saturday 4:30. Yes. I mean, what even really is there to say about this one? I feel like we don't have to linger on this one. This one, I have the Rams beating the Panthers. I don't think it'll be close. The Panthers just don't have what it takes. They're a team with a losing record, going up against possibly the most potent wild card teams in recent history.
It is a very
yeah.
I also have the Rams, the 5-seeded Rams, beating the Panthers. Like I said, they have a great MVP candidate, Matt Stafford, experienced quarterback, been to the Super Bowl. They have a great defense. Sean McVay is probably one of the best coaches in the league. I like him a lot. I think he's a great coach. And the Panthers are a great team. It's really funny to see the seeding here, because what was their record? Was it 9-8? Did they finish 9-8?
8-9.
8-9? Okay. Yeah, and they're the 4 seed, so they are a higher seed than the Rams. Stuff that still doesn't quite make sense to me, how the NFL makes that stuff work, but I am also taking the Rams. Do you know what the night game is tomorrow? I have them in an order.
I have them in order.
Why don't you go ahead?
The next game is going to be the Bears hosting the Packers.
Okay.
That's Saturday night, I believe. So,
all right.
How about you start?
Okay, I gotcha. So I have the 2-seeded Bears beating the Packers. I like Ben Johnson as a coach. Though he is not as experienced as a head coach, I think we saw a lot of cool stuff, good stuff out of the Bears this year. I like Caleb Williams a lot. I feel like he's, as Cam Newton would say, he would be a game changer rather than a manager. I think that Caleb Williams is a very good quarterback. They have a good offense. Their defense is solid, and the Packers are just too inconsistent for me to take them on the road against division rival Bears. So.
Yes. So this is interesting. I have the same result. I have the Bears beating the Packers. This one's a little tough. This is probably one of the most back and forth I've been over wild cards, though, because one thing about Jordan Love is that he is one of the better playoff performers among the sort of young-ish quarterbacks around the league.
That's right.
He has a good history, just like tossing up dimes in the playoffs, but against the Bears, this Bears team is really interesting.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I mean, the everything that they're doing is just so different from, I guess, how you would look at the Bears in previous years. So you really just have to look at them under a new lens. They get turnovers this year like no one's business. I mean, they have the highest.
Yep.
They have, I don't know if it's the highest, but I think it is the highest turnover differential in the league. They're at it's like plus 20 or something.
It's pretty shocking, yeah.
And they get so many turnovers, and I think at times they're definitely going to be reliant on those turnovers in the playoffs, but I think those are the kinds of things that can come against a team like the Packers with inconsistent offensive line and wide receivers in the passing game, and Josh Jacobs, who is prone to fumble at times.
Yeah.
I think Josh Jacobs is playing, right?
I think so. I mean, yeah.
I don't want to just say that. And he's
right.
not playing.
Right.
But
yeah, I like that. I like that pick.
Yeah. I think the turnovers are what's gonna put the Bears over.
Right.
In this matchup.
Yeah, I haven't put Green Bay under a lens enough to really assess them to that point. I didn't know too much about Jordan Love's playoff history. Certainly played well this year, I thought. I mean, there were moments, but every quarterback has moments in over the season. I remember their particular game against the Panthers. That was a pretty astounding bad performance. But
that one throw, probably the worst throw of the entire year.
Yeah. But he's in the playoffs, and he's got a pretty good team around him. So the next game, that is all that happens on Saturday. 1:00 is our home team, Buffalo, going to Jacksonville. Do you want to give me your take on this game?
Wow. So this game is going to be really close. This is going to be a close game. Yeah. I don't see this one being a blowout either way. Josh Allen, I mean, I can keep talking about him further, but when it comes to the playoffs, Josh Allen performs on a level that is very rare. Incredibly well in the playoffs, even in losses. He's always right there. Right. Even in all the playoff losses that you watch with Josh Allen, besides his first playoff appearance, every game is down to the last play. Everything is down to the wire. Josh Allen will always keep you in the game.
Yes.
No matter what. You're either gonna crush down a bad team, or you're gonna play a good team, and it's gonna be down to the wire.
Yeah.
So
and most of the time when we have these conversations, we have to consider the coaching and the defense, which historically you had 13 seconds and 22, which was pretty much down to coaching. Yeah. Josh Allen, gives you a touchdown with 13 seconds left, and then he gives you the previous touchdown, which was I think like a minute 24, under a minute. Yeah. Just keep it a minute. So yeah, you can't count him out, but you haven't given me your full.
So I do have the Bills coming out of this one. I do think that they can beat the Jaguars ultimately, because even though the Jaguars have the number one rushing defense in the league, the Bills have the number one rushing offense in the league, the best rushing attack. And in a game like that, where anything could kind of happen, it could go both ways, I do think that the run in Buffalo is still going to be a part of the game. I think it's still going to be effective, and I think that Josh Allen is just going to change the game in a lot of ways. And I think that an underrated aspect is just how difficult it's going to be for Trevor Lawrence to get his game off here, because he is not a quarterback who is really known to rise to the occasion in the playoffs already. So even though he's on a hot streak, I think that with the wide receivers that he has, with the passing attack that he has, it's going to be tough against a Buffalo defense that allows the least passing yards per game in the league.
Yeah, which is not a very known fact at this current time. I have the Bills in this one, again, in a close one. I think it's going to be a nail-biter like all Bills games are. The Jacksonville pass rush is what worries me the most about this game on Sunday. I find that, obviously, we've seen the Bills played the Texans earlier this year. Josh Allen sacked 18, that would have been unbelievable. 8 times, excuse me. Sacked 8 times. And if things aren't rolling with the run game, they have really struggled. I will say the Bills have the best tight ends. Really incredible roster of tight ends. Dalton Kincaid will likely play, which will give them a very big boost. But it will come down to this game, the defenses and the coaching. McDermott being a more experienced coach, although we could talk about his particular nuances in the playoffs, whether he makes good decisions or he doesn't. But Liam Cohen, great coach this year in Jacksonville.
Yep.
No playoff experience.
Yeah.
I think.
He
was in Tampa, right?
Yeah, he was an offensive coordinator in Tampa for a year.
Right, but no head coaching playoff experience.
And he was only there for a year, I think, in Tampa. Yeah. It was a good year last year, but didn't amount to much. So
the Bills in a nail-biter against Jacksonville. I believe there's a 4:25 game. Is that the Texans?
That's the Eagles-Niners game.
Okay.
So you wanna jump right there.
I have the Niners in this one, and probably another close one. Although I will say, I believe Brock Purdy is not playing. I have to check this actually.
I don't know.
Let's take a look real quick. Will Brock?
I think. Oh, that is tough.
He's supposed to play.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was told something different yesterday that Mac Jones is playing.
I knew that he had some issues in the last game against Seattle, but I don't think he would miss it unless something was falling off the bone.
Yeah, I just think the season Christian McCaffrey's had has been really impressive. He's always a weapon. He's been great in the playoffs when they went to the Super Bowl the one time with him. Though their injuries are banged up, they are a known team to struggle with injuries last couple years, including this year. But we've seen guys on their team throughout the season, especially late in the season, rise to the occasion. They seem to have a pretty deep roster. A lot of people are pretty low on Kyle Shanahan. I like him a lot. And then with the Eagles, I just think that the play, I know they've done a lot in the playoffs, but this offense is not the same offense as it's been in the past. And their defense, though it is great, and it's going to be very difficult for the Niners, I just feel a little more safe picking the Niners at this point. But, this one is another one that could really go either way for me. What's your take?
So this game is going to be close, but this is the first one that we're going to go separate ways on because I have the Eagles winning this game.
Sounds good.
The main reason is the Eagles' defense, every time I've seen it, it's just been so good. It's just been so good, so dominant, so commanding.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they've had some moments where they weren't perfect, but it's kind of rare. And really, they've kind of rode that defense the whole season to the record that they had.
That's true. Yeah.
And when it comes to the playoffs, I do think that with a team that is as playoff experienced and playoff ready as the Eagles, even if their offense has been doing pretty poorly, they've shown that they can rise in the playoffs. And I think that this defense, especially after the Week 18 matchup that the Niners just had against the Seahawks, I think that the Eagles could take a lot of notes from that, and they have a lot of tools on defense.
They have a lot of similarities.
I think they have a lot of tools on defense where they can really shut down the 49ers in a way where it's going to be very frustrating, and it might look similar to what we saw in Week 18 with the 49ers performance on offense. And I just think that the defense is a little too banged up, where even though the Eagles have big problems on offense, I think that if they can find their way to 10 points on offense, That might just be
It
enough,
might be enough.
to have
That's a
their
good
defense
point.
bring them over the finish line. So I have them winning, and I haven't been doing score predictions,
Right.
but if I were to throw
Pick
one out
one,
there,
yeah.
I would say it might be like a 17-3 Eagles victory or something like that. I think
Low
we could
scoring.
see a
I like
very, very sad performance from the 49ers like last week, even with great weapons like Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. I just think that this defense can really condense the field for them and make this very difficult.
Yeah, that's a great point. Some stuff that I didn't fully consider.
So we branched there.
We did branch there.
It's going to be interesting how we continue now.
Absolutely. So is tomorrow night
the next game
Patriots?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say before you guess.
Yeah,
I can just tell you.
Yeah. So, the evening game is the Los Angeles Chargers at New England. Chargers, a team that, their defense has been very strong towards the end of the season. They got a lot of great pieces on their defense. I like their defense a lot. I think that they will give the Patriots a hard time, but I think that the Patriots are very well coached. I know we could talk about, how much being hot helps entering the playoffs, but just a team that, minus some of the schedule things, has been very, very impressive. Like, I fully honest, I'm very impressed by the Patriots season. That's why I have them winning against Los Angeles. I don't think it would be relatively close. I think you still have probably a 10-point margin at least. I just don't think the Chargers can really get that much going, especially with the struggles that Justin Herbert has had with getting sacked so many times. And they don't have an impressive running game to lean on either. So that's why I have the Patriots over the Chargers in this one.
All right. So I said the same thing. I think that the Patriots are going to win at home. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Chargers are... that's really the biggest worry is the Chargers offense. I actually think when it comes to the defensive side, both of these defenses are really good.
Yeah. I
would even give the edge to the Chargers defense, the way that they've been flying around recently. It's been it's just been so tough and so scary for these teams. Things that they're able to do against pretty solid, well put together offenses, they're able to just sort of unravel them. And so I think that the Chargers defense is a big strength, but the Patriots have a pretty good defense too. A lot of players that are just playing right around the place, kind of at every level. And I just think that when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, I think that the Patriots, even though they're going to be playing a tough defense, probably that might be their biggest challenge so far on defense, honestly, for their offense. Drake
the matchup
might be facing his toughest defense yet. I just feel like
they're at home.
I just feel like he'll still be able to get one or two good drives in there, and the Chargers offense,
probably not.
I just worry about it because that offensive line is all-time bad. The wide receivers who started off the year so well have really started to slow down as the season progressed.
Yeah.
And
I had some of them in fantasy.
The running back room is lacking continuity, and they're already behind that offensive line. It's not great. And Justin Herbert has not shown me any reason in any playoff game to say that he's going to overcome these challenges. And so I have the Patriots winning, and I think they'll win by, 10 points.
Yeah, at least a 10 point
like you said. I think they,
Yeah.
I think they could do that.
Yeah. And no shade to the Chargers, but I just don't think that they have the squad to compete with the Patriots. I also really like Vrabel as a coach, too. He has some playoff experience when he was with the Titans, so... and I know, what is it? Is it John? No, not John Harbaugh. Is it Jim? Jim Harbaugh.
Who has been to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, he's a good coach. But I just don't think they have the roster. Do you want to give me your next pick? So we have the Monday night game.
Yeah, Texans at Steelers. I can just tell you right now, I think the Texans are going to win this game. I honestly think that even with the Steelers having Aaron Rodgers, like with good playoff experience, even with just like how well poised that team seems to be every year to get like 10 wins every year.
Right.
I just don't see them putting up enough firepower on offense this year or having enough juice on defense to really stand up in the playoffs. And from what I've seen from the Texans, they can make any offense in the league miserable. And man, the Steelers are not like the hardest offense in the league to make miserable, as we've seen this year.
Yeah.
I just think that the Steelers are, I think they're just a little underpowered here, and I mean they are that team with the worst record coming into the AFC side of the playoffs, that fourth seed that is like, there's always usually the weakest spot because there's always a weak division.
Right.
The weak division this year happened to be the AFC North.
Which is usually very competitive.
You saw that they made the game losing plays on defense. This past Sunday night.
They lucked out big time.
If a kicker just makes a kick, we're talking about maybe instead of John Harbaugh being fired for the Ravens, we're looking at Mike Tomlin being fired for the Steelers.
You see that meme with the goalpost?
Yeah, I did.
That is great with
the 3 sections.
Yeah. So,
but man, I just think that this is the team that has no business being in the playoffs, similar to the Panthers in the NFC, and I think that they're going to show it right away when Texans team who won like 9 or 10 in a row or something like that, when they come in with their defense and just make them miserable, don't let anything by. I just think that's what's going to happen. I think the Texans are... they're set up to win this game.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know how the order of the divisional playoffs would be, so I guess we'll just start with the low seed game, which I think would technically be... you have a different order than I do, but why don't we start with the one that's different? Because you have the Eagles winning in the wild card.
Yeah, so let's take a second. So let's start with the NFC, just because we kind of messed it up a little bit, like as far as I think our opponents are probably different too. So for me, the matchups that I have the Eagles playing the Bears and the Rams playing the Seahawks, which I think is probably a lot different than what you have going on.
Yeah, I have Seahawks, Niners, LA, Bears.
Okay, so I guess let's just talk quickly about who we think will win in each of our possible matchups.
So Niners at the 1-seeded Seattle Seahawks. I think Sam Darnold is winning this game. He's leading the Seahawks to a win. I was talking about this yesterday. What would it do to the NFL if Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl? You just have to cancel the league. You just gotta take a year off. That would be shocking.
It would be something.
But I think that with this roster, with the season that his receivers are having, with the defense, they have a pretty good they got a really good coach, coach of the year candidate.
Yeah.
There's just so much consistency and dominance I see on the Seahawks, which is really surprising to me. They had a good roster last year. They just needed a couple extra pieces, and they needed JSN to elevate for their offense so that they could just bring in a, decent quarterback to fill in and do well. And I have the Seahawks beating the Niners in the divisional, whereas your matchup is
a little
different.
Yeah.
Who are the Seahawks playing for you?
This is interesting. So for me, I have the Rams versus the Seahawks, and I guess I'll just
go for that.
I guess I'll just jump right into it because this is gonna be interesting. What I have. So you're probably gonna end up with the same matchup in your next round. I'm just kind of assuming, but so I have the Seahawks hosting the Rams. This is gonna. If this happens, this is gonna be the best game of the playoffs. Maybe. I mean, this is like almost feels like
I do
the
hope
Super Bowl.
that happens because that matchup would be awesome.
Like this almost feels like the Super Bowl. These are probably.
Did they go
the
even
two-
during the regular season? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think so.
I think so.
Because I remember one notable performance is the Sam Darnold 3 interceptions against the Rams this year, and I checked back and I saw that the Seahawks did beat the Rams in December.
Yeah, man.
By 1 in OT. I remember that game now.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because they went for 2. I mean, just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I have the Rams actually beating the Seahawks.
Okay. All right.
Even though they're the away team.
Yeah.
I think that
Tell me.
like leading up towards the end of the season, I sort of felt like, yeah, everybody thinks like the Rams are like the best team in the league, and I like kind of agree, but I also think that the Seahawks are just so good, I believe in them too. But now that it's kind of flipped and the Seahawks are the 1 seed, I feel like people are talking about Seattle almost a little too highly than what I'm comfortable with. Now, the reason I say this, so I also like the Minnesota Vikings. I watch every Minnesota Vikings game. I know about Sam Darnold. Last year, Sam Darnold, when it came down to it, Week 18, both teams being 14-2, the Vikings and the Lions. It was for the 1 seed in the NFC. And Sam Darnold just absolutely crumbled. He was missing throws. He was taking really bad sacks. He was throwing, I think there were probably turnovers in that game, but I don't remember that as vividly. I just know that we lost like 31-9 or something like that, the Vikings, I mean. And then immediately after, first round of the playoffs, they're away at the Rams. And
right.
immediately, like, it was the exact same story. The Rams dominated the Vikings in the same way. Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts out there. I mean, that's how everybody saw it, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
that game.
So last week, we were in a similar situation. Sam Darnold is fighting for the 1 seed in prime time. It was Saturday night instead of Sunday night, but the point is that Week 18, he's fighting for the 1 seed in the NFC. Now, Sam Darnold played okay. He played well enough. I'm pretty sure the Niners only put up 3 points last week, right?
13-3 was the score. I was just checking.
So the 49ers lost that game. Honestly, I think it has so much to do with that Seattle defense. And the Seattle defense is so strong this year. It's a ridiculous strength. It's probably the best defense in the entire league. It is dominant. It is everything that you want to say about it. But man, I think in the playoffs, your offense has to do something. And I just don't trust Sam Darnold to do anything.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it. I don't trust it in the playoffs against the Rams again, just like last year in the playoffs. I think that I just think that he's going to be smoked.
Can I give you some interesting statistics about that game?
Yeah.
Because you really bring some important things to mind. The Seahawks dominated in time of possession during that game by like 17 minutes. They also they went 2 for 4 in field goals, which was interesting.
Yep, I do remember.
And 0 for 3 in the red zone for the Seattle offense. And that might be what you're kind of getting at there. Yeah. I think that another thing to mention here was Sam Darnold's final statistics were 20 for 26, 198, got sacked twice, no touchdowns. And when you take a look at Week 18 of last year, when he played against the Lions, 18 for 41, 166 yards. And this is a game where Jared Goff does, 200 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The big thing was Jahmyr Gibbs' 3 touchdowns that really carried the Lions to that victory. But, I bet you I could look even more and see exactly what happened to him. He had a 55 rating in that game. But this trend that you mentioned is very, very, very interesting. And I think we'll get into the other picks, but I think that weakness will bite them at some point in both of our brackets.
So, real quick, do we want to talk about our Eagles games? Or you don't have the Eagles?
I don't have the Eagles.
Bears, our Bears games, I guess we should say.
Yeah. So, I'll really quick just say LA at Chicago. I have an LA victory. Not because the Bears are bad; they're very, very good. But I'm just talking about experience here. I think Los Angeles might be getting some key guys back too, and I also kind of like, I have the Bears like possibly scraping through the first game of the year too in the wild card. So I think it just makes sense that Matt Stafford puts something together. Sean McVay has a good game plan for this young team, and the Rams are able to win this one on the road. So that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would agree on that matchup. I think the Rams have it. Chicago has been very good this year about getting games down to, like, if they get it down to the end of the game, like in recent history, if they get it down to the last play, they are very good at seemingly having that play go their way.
They are very clutch.
Chicago, yeah, they've been clutch. Turnovers have been huge for them. They've come at the right times, but I think that they would be outmatched, and it wouldn't be close enough to matter against a team like the Rams.
I get that.
I
think it's a little closer than what you're describing, but I understand.
Yeah, I have so Eagles versus Bears. I believe Bears would be hosting that game as the 2 seed.
Yep.
I have in this game actually the Eagles beating the Bears as well. So I also have the Bears exiting at this point.
Okay.
The main reason I think is still like that sort of just playoff ready defense. I just feel like the Eagles are just not a team you want to play in the playoffs. And I know usually they say that about teams that are like, underdogs or wild card teams, like underperformers, but like I really think that like with how they've kind of struggled on offense, even if they are the division winners and the 3rd seed, I do think that they're like a team that at this point the offensive struggles have almost given them kind of like a reputation where it feels like anybody could beat them. But when it comes to the playoffs, I just don't agree. I think that the Eagles are a team that are built to beat a team like the Bears, where even if Caleb Williams plays very well in his first playoff appearance, even if he wins a game, even if that defense can force a turnover or two.
Yeah.
I just think that the Eagles defense has the tools to exploit a young, inexperienced quarterback, and I think that you have to have a really special game plan to break through that in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think, it is possible that the Eagles are beat, but I don't think the Bears are the team to do it. I think that they are still kind of one of the weaker teams when it comes to, like, explosiveness in the whole playoffs, or in the NFC playoffs, really.
Yeah, totally valid. I mean, what you're bringing up about the Eagles' defense, with the experience, like the defense matters most at this point during the year. And if they can just string together, like you said, with one of the other games, a good couple drives, it'll be low scoring, but they'll probably take it. So I like that take. Going to the AFC, I'm going to start with what I have predicted, which would be the 1-seeded Broncos against the 6-seeded Bills.
Yeah, we're going to have the same AFC matchups, by the way.
Okay, perfect.
Because we pick the same ones, I believe.
Yeah. So, Bills got to go to Denver. Incredible defense for Denver this year. They're probably on par with the Seahawks. Got to be close. I think the Seahawks carry their team more by their defense. I think that the Broncos have kind of worked out stuff that works for Bo Nix, especially these past couple games.
Yeah.
So I think that Buffalo going to Denver, it once again will be close, but a pass rush that is dominant with also a very good secondary. I do not like those cornerback matchups on the Bills wide receivers. And then if you eliminate the wide receivers, you're gonna have to go to the tight ends, and they have good linebackers too, good coverage linebackers and safeties. I think that the Bills might get knocked out of the divisional playoffs against the Broncos here.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So for this matchup, Bills at Broncos, I actually do have the Bills beating the Broncos. Now, the Broncos have been an elite defense, and for a lot of people, what matters most is like really what's happened most recently, and for good reason. But I want to kind of like zoom out and look at these, just kind of look at everything top down. I think that even though the Broncos have a great defense, like really probably, I think they're like a top 4 defense in the league. It's like them and the Texans and the AFC who have the great defenses. I think that just the Bills, like playoff experience, Josh Allen's like familiarity with these sort of things, and like the strong run game and offensive line for the Bills are going to make it possible to score against the Broncos. And I think as soon as you open the floodgates for that, good things can happen, because even though I think, Bo Nix has been able to be put in a scheme by Sean Payton and them that really gives him like a good chance to make easy plays. I just think that when it comes down to the playoffs and when things get really high pressure, I don't have too much faith in him yet.
Yeah.
He could prove me wrong for sure, but it's not like the Broncos have the most elite explosive weapons on offense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think a lot is going to be asked of Bo Nix. Like, it can get really scary really quickly for the Broncos fans, like trying to root for their offense, if the Bills are able to score against
on
the
their
defense
defense.
at all.
Absolutely.
And I do think they can. Again, the Broncos were not nearly as good of a team last year, but their defense was still very good.
Yeah.
A lot of the same players. And the Bills didn't have too much trouble scoring on them.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Obviously, I'm pulling for the Bills, but yeah, I know. Like with Bo Nix here, I just have a follow-up question for you. You think that Bo Nix, like on your team right now, let's just say, I mean, forget about roster, forget about receivers. Are you trusting Bo Nix or Trevor Lawrence more in a playoff situation?
See, that's tough.
Right. They're on the same tier in my mind.
Yeah.
But you make a good point about the receivers and the actually offensive weapons on the Broncos. I can name Cortland Sutton. I know they got the Franklin dude. I don't know who their running back is, but
running back. I mean, it'll be probably
is it
just
Harvey?
Harvey, because
yeah.
I think J.K. Dobbins is still out.
Still out. Yeah. So I mean, certainly the reason I'm pulling just a little bit more towards Broncos is just because right now with the Bills roster, I'm just having a hard time believing that, if they have their first half struggles, you know what I mean? I think it'll be a low scoring one. I think if they don't figure out their first half struggles, which hopefully they do in the wild card round, hopefully we see them come out hot, put up 15 points to 20 points in the first half, like they haven't done in the past couple of weeks. At least against their tough matchups, but. Yeah, you have a lot of good stuff to say.
I definitely see where you're coming from. The Bills, I mean, recently played the Eagles in their last real game of the season, and the Bills ended up losing, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that the Bills could not score at all in the first half. When it came down to it, their defense held, and they could score in the second half, and it ended up coming down to one play that went the Eagles' way. I could see a similar thing happening. I really could. I just think that, with the Bills versus Broncos in the playoffs, I think that in the playoffs, I trust Josh Allen to make that last throw to complete the game.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
When it comes to the playoffs, I trust it, and I think that the Bills
I agree with that, too. Yeah. Do you want to give me your take on the last divisional matchup, and then we'll speed through conference championships and Super Bowl?
Yep.
What do you got for the Pats?
Texans versus Patriots. So I have the Texans actually winning this game. I'm not sure if you're going to have the same thing or not. We'll see in a moment. But I believe that the Texans defense is so ready for anything. I think they're so playoff ready. I have so much trust in Will Anderson and Derek Stingley as just cornerstones that are just going to dominate pretty much any duo that exists in the playoffs right now.
That's right.
And man, I just think, I mean, goodness gracious, they're so dominant. When I was watching, the Bills play against the Texans. Like,
Oh goodness.
I mean,
Yeah.
really the only reason that game was close is because they had, who was it, Davis Mills at quarterback?
Yes. Yes.
And not C.J. Stroud for the Texans,
Right.
because what the defense was doing to the Bills was unbelievable. I've never seen I've never seen such dominance.
Both our
against-
left tackle and our right tackle came out of that game injured because of
Yeah.
the beating that they took from the pass
Yeah,
rush.
and I mean, just such an elite team, such a well-run defense, such a. I mean, I don't want to just keep talking about the Bills because the Bills aren't a part of this, but
Right.
when the Texans played against them, I mean, they're playing against a great quarterback and they are locking down everything, and they end up sacking him 8 or 9 times. It's just obscene. What the Texans defense has been able to do, and even some comebacks that they've been able to mount, even with Davis Mills as quarterback, as part of this big sort of winning run, after the beginning of the season to get to the point where they are now.
Yeah.
And I think C.J. Stroud, he has a couple playoff wins. He has a couple decent playoff performances. I don't think he has to be even great to beat the Patriots in this matchup. And I think that the defense is going to be able to carry, because I do still have my doubts about how Drake May is going to play in his first ever playoffs.
Yeah, totally. That's that is also why I have the Texans being the Patriots. There's really nothing more I could add to what you said. There's just been too many examples this season of a dominant defense. And I think that honestly, I think that the Texans offense, I think they can figure something out. There is a particular game, I forget the matchup. I think they might have been playing the Chargers a couple weeks ago, where C.J. Stroud in the first quarter is at 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then again, the rest of the game, he did not do as much. He threw 2 interceptions the rest of the game. But the thing was, if he does something like that where he sets his team up in a good spot, which I think that he can do better than Bo Nix, better than Trevor Lawrence, and some of these other quarterbacks in the playoffs, if he can just at least set the offense up with some points, the defense can carry him better than Denver or the Jags or some of these other teams in the AFC. It just takes a little bit for some of these teams. We're seeing some incredible defenses in the playoffs and some really strange offenses. And I think that's something that hasn't been involved in the conversation, right? Is we keep talking about there's no Mahomes, there's no Lamar, there's no Burrow, right? The only big guy in the AFC is Josh Allen right now, the only one with playoff experience. But if you look at those teams' defenses, how they've played and how we know the Chiefs had injuries, right? But they were out of the playoffs way before they got most of their injuries. The Ravens, same thing, inconsistent defense. Lamar Jackson goes down, stuff like that. The Bengals' defense is horrid.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow is injured. But we see all these teams with all right offenses, but astounding defenses carrying them into the playoffs. And it's just going to be really interesting to see. I'm really excited.
Yes, I'll be excited to see what this Texans defense is able to do in the playoffs.
That'll be awesome.
I just think they're gonna look so good, and it's gonna be real scary if
we gotta watch some of these games together.
Yeah,
shoot,
we gotta
at least the divisionals, man.
We gotta figure out something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
live pod reaction. Do a live stream.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, no.
We have completely different conference championships now.
Yeah.
Our championships are just different. We just have different teams, which is interesting. So let's.
I'm just gonna whip through it. We have. Oh no, we do have completely different. So, my conference championship is the Broncos versus the Texans.
Yep.
I have the Broncos, which
after
talking about it, I don't love. Because it's a lot of these games can go either way because of inexperience, right? And that's why I really do love the Bills in this playoffs because of their experience. I think that the media is counting them way too far out in the wild card, especially. I think what we see in the wild card, if they It doesn't even have to be dominate, but if they can push to the wild card, they're going to become a favorite because they get the run game going with the number one rushing offense in the playoffs is huge, especially in away games and stuff like that. If you can establish the run in an away game, it'll mean so much. What I'm trying to say is, in this particular matchup, going back to the conference championship, I think that with how, like I said, confident I am in the turnovers that the Broncos can generate, I think it's going to be a defensive battle, and I think it's going to go down to home advantage, where the Broncos have the home advantage in this scenario. A couple field goals for both sides, maybe a touchdown or two. Probably the most boring matchup, in my opinion, is this conference championship. But defenses win championships, and that is why I have the Broncos winning the AFC Championship.
Yeah, see, so many of these are really matchup dependent. Like, it's going to get really interesting in these AFC playoffs, I think, especially the AFC playoffs. Like, the matchups matter so much. And, like, for example, like, I had the Bills beating the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Bills are kind of like a sneaky bad matchup for the Broncos. But I kind of feel like the Texans are, even though they have crazy defense, I almost feel like they're not as bad of a matchup for the Broncos. Like I like your pick there. So I think
in that scenario,
I like that.
Yeah.
My AFC Championship game is what was it? It's gonna be Texans hosting the Bills, and man, scary stuff. So
do they get it done?
Yeah, so this might sound crazy. And again, I promise you, I'm trying not to be biased. I do think that the Bills in the playoffs can beat the Texans. Now, hold on,
Right, they gotta scheme something up.
There's a lot of questions about that. But here, I do think that when it comes to the playoffs, Josh Allen is such an elevator, such a game changer.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that at the end of the day, the Bills' defense, especially how it's been playing late in the season, was giving me a lot of hope that they can actually, hold some of these
their
much
second
weaker
halves
teams.
Are amazing.
Because it's not like we're going to play the bane of our existence, the Chiefs, where like crazy plays are just going to happen over and over again on your defense, and you're just sitting there like, what is happening? How could this even be possible?
Yeah.
Or even the Ravens, who have been able to do that in the regular season, or even the Bengals, who have been able to get it done in the playoffs against the Bills. All those teams are gone. So all of these are matchup dependent, and I do think that the Bills defense, now that those teams are gone, you could actually see the Bills defense perform very well, like at a high level, especially in the second half.
Because they're not facing any astounding offenses.
Yeah,
especially, are you taking like the Bills' decent defense versus a bad Texans offense at moments?
Yeah, a Texans offense that can make some like bad plays, some bad like splash plays, like some turnovers, or just like not really have enough going to really do much in the playoffs. And I do think that the Bills, like especially how they elevate their defense and offense in the second half of these games recently. I think that this game will come down to the wire, but I do think that the Bills will get it done this time instead of kind of, falling flat like they did at the end of the drive in that matchup in the regular season. Even though that matchup had Davis Mills and this will have CJ Stroud, I do think that it's going to be I don't know. I think that the Bills' defense really can do something against him. Against CJ Stroud. But again, this is a game I could see going both ways, and that's my prediction. But I definitely, if that matchup happens in the AFC Championship game, as a Bills fan, I won't feel good about it.
Right. I don't feel good at all ever. So
yeah,
at this point,
tough to feel good.
Yeah. Do you want to just briefly say a sentence or two about your NFC Championship?
Yeah, I think this one I can probably be pretty quick about it, because even though I've had the Eagles like really pull through with their defense a lot, I do think that this is where the road ends, and I think that the Rams, even on the road, are going to beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. I think that the Rams are like I said earlier, the most potent wild card team that we've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that, even though I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl too, which are also a wild card team, I just think that, man, the Rams are elite on every level.
Right.
Elite coaching, just, candidates for all of the NFL honors at like every position. Like, just,
absolutely.
Man, the Rams,
they're just
I still do see them as like that pinnacle, like sort of strongest team in the league, and I think that they're going to show it even against the Eagles. The Eagles beat the Rams earlier this year, but it was all because of a blocked kick.
Yeah,
I just don't see that sort of thing happening again
in the playoffs.
And like it could, but I don't think it will. And I think this is the time. Even though last year in the playoffs and then this year in the regular season, the Eagles have come out on top. I think their offensive woes are just too heavy a burden to bear now, and I think this electric Rams team is finally going to get it done against them and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I have the Rams playing the Seahawks, which is
we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that game.
Which it would eat both ways again. Like, you have 1-1 in the regular season, especially your Week 18 matchup goes into overtime, where I can't remember. Did we take a look at what the Seattle offense did in that game? They were pretty strong in that game, I thought.
In which game?
So in Seattle versus Los Angeles on Week 17 or whatever this was, Matt Stafford almost 500 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
incredible.
I remember that was unreal.
Sam Darnold, 270, 2 touchdowns, but the 2 turnovers.
Yes.
So they still came through, and I think that's a credit to the defense.
It's a big credit.
But that's where also I have the luck runs out, and the Rams with their experience, with their coaching, their quarterback, such a well-rounded team. I like their offense better than Seattle, significantly, with their weapons and their scheme. Like, McVay just always whips up something good.
Yeah.
So that makes my Super Bowl Broncos-Rams.
That Rams offense, especially in clutch situations, I'm not sure there's an offense in the league I trust more. That Rams offense, like that connection to Puka Nacua, I think is probably going to be the strongest in this whole playoffs.
Yep.
And, man, I mean, a good thing to keep in mind is that in that game where they lost in overtime, Matt Stafford, they started with the ball, the Rams, and they got a touchdown. And the Seahawks went right back, got their own touchdown, and got the 2-point conversion. And Matt Stafford never saw the ball again.
Right.
He had like a 13-second moment with Josh Allen.
Say that.
Like, Matt Stafford played as good as he could in that game, and I think that he'll. I mean, I have a lot of faith in that.
Me too, and significantly more than, Samuel Darnold.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you want to give me your Super Bowl real quick? I'll give you my Super Bowl, and then we'll get on to some of this other stuff. So.
Yes. So we both have the Rams in the Super Bowl. I have them playing the Bills in the Super Bowl. You have them playing the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Both of those Super Bowls would probably be amazing games. But I think, hurts me to say, I do think, I'm just going to say it, I think the Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah. I think that they can beat the Bills. I think that they have strengths over the Bills at almost every position, really. I think that even if the Bills' defense gets a little tighter in the second half and it edges out the Rams' defense in the second half, I think that the Rams' offense, the passing attack is unstoppable, even if the Bills' passing defense has been the most efficient in the league this year.
Right.
I just don't believe that there's a defense out there right now who can stop Puka Nacua from getting open and breaking the game. And it's not like their other receivers are scrubs. Devontae Adams is a ridiculous red zone touchdown machine.
Yeah.
He's shown that he still has it.
Yeah.
The running back duo of Kyron Williams and Blake Corum are
very good.
They've shown that they can both run in different situations.
Yeah.
And you just have to respect everything that they're doing on offense. And we haven't even talked about the fact that their defense is as good as it is. I mean, maybe you can talk about that in
Yeah,
Super Bowl
yeah,
matchups.
yeah.
But for
Right.
all those reasons,
Mhm.
Josh Allen, I think, could play great. I don't think it could be enough.
I mean, I remember last year they had an awesome game against the Rams. The Bills faced the Rams in
Yeah.
LA. A game the Bills could have won, but what was shocking about the game was a Rams punt block return for a touchdown was basically the score that changed everything. Gave the Rams momentum, then the Bills had to come from behind, and Bills lost by a score. So something like that. But for my matchup, sweet and simple. Broncos offense just does not have it. I repeat, Broncos offense does not have it to win a Super Bowl.
I agree.
Okay, sorry about that cut. We just had to take a quick intermission. We just had to reload with some extra goodies and stuff there. But we're going to run through the NFL honors predictions now. We'll kind of do this in the form of a list, see where there's differences, and kind of just go from there. Because I know we took a lot of time talking about the bracket, but like you said, there are a lot of games, a lot of stuff that we had to cover. So do you want to go through your list first as the guest?
Sure thing. So starting, I guess, bottom up then. Same
Sure,
thing.
yeah.
We'll all right, Coach of the Year. I have Kyle Shanahan.
Okay.
Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay.
I have Dak Prescott.
All right.
Defensive Player of the Year. I have Myles Garrett.
Okay. Yeah, same for me.
Offensive Player of the Year. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Okay, I think these are all going to be the same.
And then the MVP, I got Matthew Stafford.
Oh, okay. So I do differ there.
Okay.
Okay, so I do differ with some of your earlier picks. Like Coach of the Year, I have Mike McDonald in Seattle.
Okay.
Just like, because of that defense, turning them around. I think he's just the easiest pick for this. But I also like Ben Johnson. Like I think he's also really deserving of the award.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I have Kyle Shanahan is mainly because I just think that he's been the most impressive with what he's been given. The injuries to Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, like it's like, and then missing your quarterback for all those weeks, and you have Mac Jones out there throwing bombs, like it's
impressive. Yeah,
it's been really impressive, and I just have like all the faith in the world in Kyle Shanahan as a coach. Like seeing that, I think he should win.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid take. Like I said in my playoff prediction, I like Kyle Shanahan a lot. So, my comeback player there was CMC, Christian McCaffrey, just because he's always proven to us that his injuries don't slow him down. He has got 1,000+ rushing yards, almost 1,000 receiving yards. Would have been a crazy feat if he was able to do that, but still 2,000 combined yards. Just like very impressive. I like your Dak Prescott take a lot.
Yeah.
I think like doing what he does with what they have. I mean, I know the record doesn't show for it, but
yeah, like
it's really good. Yeah,
he's been able to kind of. I mean, the offense has been a lot better this year for multiple reasons, but him being able to come off of an injury and throw for well over 4,000 yards and like 30 touchdowns. I mean, I just think it's impressive to see him perform at such a high level any year that he is healthy, which is not always, of course, in his career, but that's why I think he should be the comeback player of the year because he's been resilient and
absolutely.
He leads a good offense. Obviously, that defense isn't good, but unlocking George Pickens, credit to George Pickens, but he looked amazing this year, and he's just like Dak Prescott is a proven QB.
So then we had the same offensive and defensive player year. We know those guys are both incredible.
Yeah.
Have done amazing things this season. Myles Garrett with the sack record. JSN was just a great breakout year.
Yep.
Finally being unleashed,
Yeah. The way I see it, there's no one else in contention with Myles Garrett for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep, in agreement there.
Offensive Player of the Year, I just think that Jackson Smith and Jigba has had the best, most consistent season. I think that some people make an argument for Puka Nacua, but I just think because of the time that he missed, even though he's been so impressive on the field, it's just The consistency year round of Jackson Smith and Jigba. Just like
he's got like little to no injury history.
Yeah, and being on like just being able to help out Sam Darnold in that way and being such like an amazing development there in Seattle. Like I think he should win it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now we do have to touch on this before we move on.
Yep.
The MVP we did differ on.
Yep.
I know we actually have talked about the MVP a little bit before. I obviously a lot of my picks were more like who I think is going to win it. I love the Matt Stafford choice. I just think that this award is going to Drake May. But just briefly, give me your thoughts on like the Matt Stafford, Drake May MVP discussion, because this MVP race for me was a little disappointing in comparison to previous years.
Yeah, I definitely understand that point of it being a little disappointing because I mean, there's no really like there's not really the quarterbacks who even after this year, whoever wins the MVP, you're not going to look at either of these guys as being quite as good next year. Like you're not going to expect them to just be a better player than the Patrick Mahomes and the Josh Allen and the Lamar Jackson sort of that sort of group, maybe even Joe Burrow, like just that group of elite players.
It doesn't fall into there,
But MVP is all about being able to do it very consistently year round and have your team be very good, and that's what these quarterbacks have done. And the reason that I have Matt Stafford over Drake May has a lot to do with the schedules and the opponents. A lot of people try to discredit that part when sort of talking about why Drake May should win, but I just don't think you can discredit it. Even though Drake May has been so consistent throughout the year, and he can only play the people in front of him. I know. But the fact of the matter is that Matthew Stafford has also played extremely well against the people in front of him, and it just so happens that
he's in a more competitive division.
Insane division, and the people in front of him are they're just a lot more challenging than Drake May. And a couple of Matthew Stafford's losses that led him to losing the division and having a worse record than the Patriots even. Like a couple of those losses, it just Matt Stafford, you can't do anything about it. The Eagles blocked that kick against Matthew Stafford. He can't do anything about that.
Didn't get the ball back in overtime.
Against the Seahawks, he just never got the ball back. Did everything he could. So I just think that Matt Stafford has been the biggest elevator for pretty much any team this year. I mean, the Rams' offense is just so electric, so dynamic, and a lot of it has to do with how just smart he is when he plays. He's been great.
If I could change my pick, I'd change my pick.
Yeah,
you have convinced me. But it's not that I'm really pulling for Drake May. I guess I am pulling for Matt Stafford. I just think that he's more deserving. Like you said, he has greater feats. He's done more impressive things this year. Drake May has been unbelievably consistent. He has made an unbelievable jump. But he also has a lot of, you got to credit his coach too as well. His receiver room, improved. He's got a good running back behind him now. A lot of things are setting this team up to be really great this year in the playoffs and also in the future. But we can't, get too far ahead of ourselves until we see what they actually can do. What they can do in the playoffs, what they can do, in the future. I love the idea of Drake May in a couple years being MVP, but it's just kind of shocking that we live in a world where Drake May could be the MVP in his second year, and Sam Darnold is the 1 seed in the NFC. And it could have been the one seed in the NFC last year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really impressive how he's getting him. Like, what is he doing to get these jobs?
I don't know. I don't understand quite what happened there when Sam Darnold was backing up in San Francisco, where he just decided to learn the secrets.
Learn the secrets
of the pigskin, but as soon as he went to Minnesota, I mean, he just ridiculous, and it's continued with Seattle. So
I remember that one play. Yeah, and sorry to interrupt you. It just came right in my mind. The one play. Remember when Sam Darnold had that deep pass to Justin Jefferson last year? It was like the one. He was like from the 1 to like the 6. Yeah.
Against the 49ers. That was bring me back.
Yeah.
But
you wish you had Sam Darnold more than 9 now because you're also a Vikings fan.
Yes, but I also like. I mean, it's unrelated, but I understand like how things went, and like we would have a worse roster if we paid Sam Darnold a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I don't know if I'm willing to sacrifice that because having JJ McCarthy, who could not turn out to be good ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not the worst thing in the world because you could eventually get another quarterback. If you were like truly, truly bad, you could draft one or you can try to trade for one.
Right.
What I think the Vikings should do, just as a little side note, is they should trade for Joe Burrow this offseason. They should make a push at that. That's what I think that they should.
But what would they trade though? Picks?
They have picks and they have a lot of like talented players, especially like talented defensive players that they could really use over there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And do you think that the Bengals just kind of reset a little bit?
I think they should. I mean, they already. I mean, yeah. I can't believe they keep.
I know.
I can't believe they're keeping their head coach Zach Taylor. I can't believe that they said they're keeping him.
We used to make fun of him like years ago, like for his moments. Like
I just think that.
So this is Zach Taylor.
If you're Joe Burrow, you have to be like, nah, I don't know if I want to keep playing here. Like,
I think
if they don't trade him, I could kind of see like an Andrew Luck situation start to develop where he might just be like, it's not.
Dude, he's taking so many injuries. You put him behind an O line that can protect him. Like if Minnesota could do that, that'd be insane.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think they'd like jump to the best team in the league. To be honest.
Yeah, would be really impressive. So talked a lot of sports, a lot of good stuff.
Really excited for these NFL playoffs coming up.